Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. The month of April 2024 has a lot of change. It's very unusual and rare, and it's going to open up new opportunities for financial abundance. It potentially can also indicate great success with matters to do with foreign shores and foreign lands, and some indication as well as major roadblocks and turning points in long-term committed love stories as this month unfolds. Now, some of the events we're talking about are as rare as like 1994, 1941, and the early like 2005 timeframe. So we're looking at events for you that are pivotal changes, Virgo, that you haven't seen for a very long time, and certainly not in exactly the same way. So let's dive into this, shall we? If you are, by the way, a newcomer to this channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. I love fixed stars and especially the minor asteroids. All of my 40 plus videos every month cover all kinds of that kind of content for you. I delineate all signs all of the time. So come join me by hitting the like button, subscribing, and the notification bell so you don't miss anything I put out this month. Also, the only thing I'm sharing with you about my world of astrology is I am teaching my Sky Reader for the 5th time. It's a class called Sky Reader to time your best life and be your own astrologer. Honestly, love this class. It's getting better every time I teach it. If you're interested in learning astrology, just enough to know how to use some ancient and very interestingly simple but easy timing tools in order to navigate your life and do the best you can to go with that flow, come jump aboard my class. And how do you get there? Well, first of all, by the way, live class, replays, evergreen access. You get to keep the content forever. Live Q&As on the weekly, a Facebook group for your homework to be checked, and I can tune in to see how you guys are doing in a high-touch learning environment. So if you want to take this class, you can't buy this class unless you take the class. You get to keep it forever. Come join in my community of learners and lovers of astrology. We'll be doing that class mid-April, add 6 weeks. Let's get rolling. Rolling down the river. First of all, let me say this. For you Virgos, I know that the passage of Saturn in the significant marriage and love house has been in your story now since last March. And some of you may find that your significant love marriage stories are either stabilizing, becoming more solid and committed, or have gone through a test of endurance and trials of difficulty. That is no different in the month because the Saturn's in your 7th house of committed love and marriage. That's, long-term love. It's still going to be true till 2026. But there are some exceptional events happening here in the month of April that tie into this longer story of the Saturn hardship in the significant love house. So we'll be addressing that for you this month, most certainly. A critical turning point is happening for you this month. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this month in terms of the big stories of Venus, Mars, and Mercury as they move through the sky, and what signs are going through. And then we're going to move into the chronology of the month. And it's during that chronology, you're going to get to know when this big turning point in the love and marriage house is happening. I hope that's going to be something you're interested in learning about because it's happening in a way you haven't seen since 1994 and 1996. Let's start at the very beginning, shall we? And take note of these stories of planetary motion. Why don't we start with Mars? Maybe he's a big deal because he is the guy who's going to be going through that 7th house of long-term committed love for the entire month of April. Basically, he started around the 22nd, 23rd of March, moving through your marriage house. And for most Virgos, this means separation from the person that you're with if you're with somebody. So if you are in an existing relationship and Mars is moving through this part of your chart, March the 22nd through to April 30th, there will be maybe some separation or time apart from that person. But on the other hand, especially with Saturn here, the other person may become controlling, demanding, aggressive, or bossy toward you. And you may be feeling like you're dealing with, that old movie, Sleeping with the Enemy. So you may find yourself in turbulent waters by virtue of the comportment of your partner being aggressive, conflictual, Saturn, controlling, and maybe depressed or angry energies, frustration. They may be frustrated in their lives, not even about you, and you have to deal with their frustration. So also it is when Mars is going through this part of the chart, their relationships can end because Mars cuts and snips and severs committed business, love, relationships, client relations even, and there may be some ending here coming through the sky between March 23rd of 2024 and the end of April. So be aware of that energy. In the chronology, I'll tell you where the perilous times are. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, and harmony and peace, will have been traveling up to um, the 5th of March of April through Pisces in her exaltation and giving you a bit of a glow up 3 weeks before March, April the 5th, making the significant love relationship and your partnerships in general, business and love, feel a little more delightful and a little bit more easy and a little bit more lovely. So even though Mars was there kicking up a gnarly storm, Venus was keeping everything really calm. Keep calm with Venus in your love stories. But when she leaves the scene on April the 5th and Mars is by himself, April the 5th onward, that love arrangement story becomes more challenging, most likely. Venus moving through your 8th house of chunky money, where you don't earn that income, but it comes to you through inheritances or tax rebates or your partner shared resources or investment monies or insurance payouts, whatever. Here comes a chunk of money. That money becomes more available to you as the goddess of money moves through the house that involves money. And possibly, even though she's in her tomboy detriment here in Aries, she's still good to give money when she moves through the 8th house. And you might find that money opportunities for chunks of money coming at you are very available April the 5th when she enters this part of your sky, all the way through to April the 29th. Now, she's not just moving through Aries, your 8th house of chunky money, able to deliver more money. She is also involved in forbidden love stories when she's here. And so, therefore, infidelities and extracurricular love can be a bit of a problem in this part of your sky during this time for you or your partner, if there is a partner. One thing I can say about Venus coming through this part of the sky, it's a hot piece of real estate. You've had a wound here since 2019. This is the chunky money of inheritance monies. This is money that you have to rely on through a grant, a stipend, a government payout. Could be your money from your partner that you're not really able to like reconcile with your money and inheritances, as I said. Somehow you've been wounded here. I have a Virgo who's, really desirous of, say, sharing the mutual monies with her common law partner, and there's been some resistance from that partner to do that. Or I have another one who had some inheritance money and lost it basically in one summer of spending. So a lot of Virgos have had a wound since 2019 around shared resources in love partnerships and business partnerships, including betrayals around business partnerships and finances, as well as some insecurity. Because in 2019, Chiron entered the chunky money and forbidden love and betrayals house. Okay. So if you've had betrayals in love, if you've had losses of money that were maybe coming to you in unearned ways or difficulties with those shared resources with a partner in business and love, since 2019, this is Venus coming in during a very intense month in which is going to be a big healing here from an eclipse. We'll get to the dates of that later. So look for Venus to try to lend a hand to midwife a healing chironic eclipse in this part of your sky in April. Alrighty? Also, Mercury is in Aries in your chunky money house. Well, he will be there retrograding in April, but he got there March the 10th and leaves May 15th. Now, when he retrogrades in the first 3 weeks of April, the 1st to the 25th, money owed to you can come back to you. You paid too much in taxes and you get a large rebate. Somebody owes you money from your past, especially retrograde. And they come to you and they say, here's the money. Inheritance money owed to you from the past comes to you out of the blue or in a happy and a fortunate way. Mercury retrograding here means he's in a close to the earth position. And he brings great goodness and magic in his proximity to earth, between the earth and the sun. Of course, people are always afraid of Mercury retrograde, but I am not. It's not like you shouldn't do anything with business or whatever, but even a stock investment from the past may come back to you because we invest in the markets here as well. Now, Mercury's in an elemental fire year, and we haven't had him in an elemental fire year since 2017, where he's predominantly spending time in Leo, Sag, and and Aries. And so you'll expect him to be very intensely reminding you of what kinds of chunky money stories were available for you in the spring of 2017. And in a lot of ways, like one of my Virgo people got her inheritance that she blew from her grandma. Yeah, you guys know who I'm talking about. My daughter during that window of time. So the other indication here during the retrograde is secrets from the past can be revealed. Okay, especially during the Cazimi that we're going to have on April 11th and 12th. But we'll wait to get to the time breakdown for that, and we'll get into that with more detail. All right, so let's break it down into bit by bit pieces. Number one, ready, set, go. April 3rd, Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, meets with Neptune, and they become one. And this is April 2, 3, and 4. You're feeling it. It's exact on April 3rd. This is all time zone dependent. April 2, 3, and 4. Venus co-joins with Neptune in Pisces. She's exalted. It's in your significant love, business, and marriage partnerships. And it can be a huge healing vibe of exquisite romance, unconditional love, and soulmate juice in the marriage house. And maybe your partner feels it and they're very generously disposed towards you, etc. There's a big glow up there. If you're in the online world and you put stuff into the marketplace, you could have a sweet touch there with videography platform success. Something on your Instagram or videography platforms goes really, into a good spot in terms of hitting the mark for the audience. That could be very true with a Venus exalted in your house of the audience and marketplace with good old filmography god Neptune. No, but the beauty doesn't last, because then April 6th and 7th, now Venus is moving into Aries and no longer keeping Mars from causing trouble in your marriage house. Remember that. But on the 6th and 7th, Venus will sextile Pluto. Now, Pluto and Venus can bring wealth, and Pluto and Venus in sextile means wealth comes easy. Venus is in the chunky money house, and Pluto is in the house of debts owed to you. Sixth house matters. I can expect either debt relief or debt repayments coming through the chart in a positive way on April 6th and the 7th, or some good financial news coming through in a work or employment situation as a bonus pay, a reward for work well done. On April the 9th and the 10th, we move into a difficult sky with Mars conjuncting Saturn the day after the April 8th eclipse, making this a very hot spot time for all of us. Let's talk about it. When the eclipse is happening on April the 8th, it's a total solar eclipse at 19 degrees of your 8th house Aries zone. Now, an eclipse in the 8th house is not about the day, which is the 8th of April, but rather the year that follows and the month that precedes it. And it can open a massive doorway for financial gain in a significant way through investments in stocks, inheritances, and shared resources with a spouse. That doorway is opening in this April 8th eclipse, but it is connected to the chironic wound that you've been experiencing around this kind of chunky money or sexual secrets and betrayals. And this is something that is trying to heal. And if you go back to February the 19th and March the 5th, when the true and mean node co-joined with Chiron, the wound, gave you clues to the name it, to claim it, to heal it energy. And then we move into another story. Mercury keeps massaging Chiron all through April, back and forth, back and forth. But also we talk about that eclipse. That eclipse is going to blast open something. It's a total solar eclipse in the 8th house of chunky money. With Lorelei Athena perusing your 4th house, this can look definitely like big breakthroughs in property, land, home, and real estate sales and legacy wealth from your family of origin, particularly through solar figures, perhaps, but even lunar figures, but it's a solar eclipse. So therefore, money from a father figure coming to you over the course of a year, whether it's a grandfather, father, great uncle, I don't know, but there's that story there. Keep it in mind. I'm not saying that everyone's father is going to pass away and give you money, but it's kind of a very inheritancy vibe as well. And this is an eclipse because it is conjunct Chiron that really opens a portal to a healing so that we can recover from what has been ailing us in our money house in the course of the year that follows. Chunky money. South Node is moving through all Libra's earnings houses. You don't want to work so hard. You want to stop working. You want to chill. You want to work less. You want to hustle less. The sky says, yes, we're opening a door for monies that don't require hard work. Maybe your spouse will share more with you. Maybe you'll get that inheritance. Maybe you'll get a stock that takes off. Maybe you'll, open up a portal for some new financial success that doesn't require the daily grind of the work. And that's what the sky would try to open up for many Virgos over the course of the next year, starting from the April 8th eclipse. Now, we've had eclipses here before, so you might want to go back and think of 2004, 5, and 6, particularly calendar year 2005 with a Libra eclipse here, Aries eclipse here in the spring. Things about fall of 2004 all the way through 2005 are reoccurring, and we'll do a whole eclipse video on this. Stay tuned for that. Now, at the same time, I want you to be aware that the eclipse is coming on the 8th, but on the heels of it, like right afterwards, is the very challenging hard stop in your marriage house where Mars on his ski jet in Pisces crashes right into a freaking rock in the water. So Saturn is caution, Mars is speed. Saturn is slow, Mars is fast. The two together are like hitting a wall or frustration. So frustration or hitting a wall in the house of that business partner, that marriage partner type partner, or in an audience-client relationship is going to feel very intense on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of the month, give or take 2 or 3 days on either side. So it's embedded with the eclipse energy in your 8th house. You may have a blowout about shared resources with a marriage type partner. You may have a blowout about secrets spilled about forbidden love stories with a marriage type partner. You may have a business partner betrayal narrative hit a wall with frustration. All of that, sorry to say, is happening in the difficult sky of the 8th, 9th, and 10th of the month. Now, moving onward, there's a magical Mercury cazimi in the heart of the sun on April 11th, 12th, depends on your time zone, 22 Aries, as he's retrograding in your chunky money house. News, phone calls, and text messages, insights, and downloads coming through about how you can have chunky money work for you. Indeed, be very successful with it. Stock investment tips may be coming through on that day. News from a lawyer that can really open up your eyes to how much money you really could be using. Some tax accountant or tax information that turns your world around, April 11th and 12th. But on a deeper spiritual level, this is a moksha house about spiritual liberation. And Mercury's in the heart of the sun, and it's magical. And you can harness the asteroids and stars involved in this through guided meditation. And my deep desire for you to learn to understand the sky in my free webinar. So come to my free webinar on this Mercury retrograde. Sign up in the description box below. No harm, no foul. You get to watch the replay even if you can't come to the class. All right? Moving forward into the vortex. I always call it the vortex. I've been thinking about this as a vortex for 2 years now. Okay, so back in 1941, Jupiter and Uranus co-joined in Taurus. Now they're back in Taurus, co-joining together. A synodic cycle. It happens every 14 years in different signs, but this is the cycle for Taurus. They're coming together on April 21st, and it's around 21 degrees of Taurus. And Taurus is your house of academics, foreign land travel, visas and passports, judges and legal cases, book publishing, academic and university settings, and third marriages, and the deep meaning of your life and your spiritual philosophy, even your religion. Now, there is something trying to germinate here, because when these two come together, they're activating a part of your chart on April 21st that has never had a Uranian and Jupiterian signature. And so it indicates that over the course of the next 14 years, you're very exciting, unexpected, prosperous, surprising, good things happen here. Plenty and abundance happen through foreign lands, foreign shores, foreigners, judges, legal matters, court cases, book publishing, third marriages, academic settings. Father figures that create bounty as well, because in India, the 4th house can be father figures. So this is a place of goodness for you, and you're getting the first taste of it. And you'll feel it vibing in on the 15th to the 26th, because between the 15th and the 21st, it's an orb, and it's still an orb until the 26th after the 21st. So it doesn't have to be about the 21st. And possibly you have an event happen here, something circumstantial, but it's really a setting of a new course for your life that gives you radically good things and radically interesting things happening in your 9th house. Whole sign Taurus house, flowing to your Virgoian nature. My Virgo rising daughter might go back to school again despite it all and do a master's in the next 14 years, despite the fact she's so done with school, that kind of thing. Some people might want to travel extensively or move to another country based on this. So let's see what happens for a lot of you Virgos. And this energy that we're talking about, April 21st, has a bunch of other stuff happening, which is why it's a vortex at the same time. At the very same time, especially around the 18th to the 21st, Mars is sextiling both the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Mars is a cheerleader in the seventh house of legal contracts and agreements, negotiations. And so it's great for legal settlements and contracts and agreements. It's good for agreements to do with foreign lands, foreign travel, and your marriage type and business partners. It's good for things to do with Mars applying after hitting the hard wall in the relationship house to some forward momentum now around the 18th to the 21st. And it can indicate agreements and contracts with business and marriage partners regarding foreign shores, foreign lands, travel, and all those matters. If you're wanting to publish a book, of course, this is a book publishing contract, probably. At the same time this is all going on, Venus and Mercury will co-join in a conjunction in your house of chunky money. Now, don't forget Mercury's retrograde. He's going to be in the heart of the sun on the 11th, 12th, and now the 18th to the 21st, he's coming out of the heart of the sun with his divine mission instructions, and he meets with Venus. Money, Venus, love, Venus, Mercury, news and information. The telling of a tale of truth and love and betrayal, 18th to the 21st, clearing something up. Or some kind of news, information, phone calls, or text messages around financial good things happening for you in your taxes, inheritance monies, etc. It could involve lawyerly Athena traveling through your fourth house. So calls from a lawyer, real estate lawyer, calls or emails or calls from somebody to do with an inheritance story, etc., around the 18th to the 21st of April. The vortex includes a difficult story. It means that also at the same time, on the 20th to the 21st, Pluto and Mars square off, and that's a power struggle. That's usually a dominating, who's going to win, who's going to rule the roost here, who's got the more will, who's right. Anyway, this is happening with Pluto in Aquarius. That happens to be your house of work and health matters and debts that you might owe to somebody. And Sun in the ninth house that I've delineated 100 times, judges, courts, legal matters. But if it's a legal matter about debt and money owed, there's a power struggle. If it's a legal matter about work situations, there's a power struggle. If it's an academic versus work setting, there's a challenge or a struggle. If it's academics, travel opportunities, and things you want to do with travel, goals and ambitions to far foreign shores, and work commitments, there's a struggle here. And you feel this tension very intensely April 20th and 21st. Well, good news is, if you ask me, that this can be resolved by Venus in a very harmonious way on April 29th and 30th, when Venus moves into the same square to Pluto from your ninth house and smooths it out, finds a solution and resolution for whatever this challenge is. So keep that in mind. Then on the 23rd of the month, we have a full moon in Scorpio. You want to go back to the fall when a new moon was in Scorpio, because now it's becoming full and fruiting. And Scorpio for you guys as a Virgo sun, moon, and rising is your derived third for the sun and moon, your third house of trips and travel, journeys, shorter distance travel, skills-based learning and education, maybe things to do with your local neighbors and neighborhoods, siblings, as well as aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews. So what seeds did you plant for those types of things in your life that are maybe coming full and fruiting for you? It includes writing, by the way, and also online social media platforms and blogs. What seeds did you plant in the online social media world in the fall that are now becoming blossoms, big, beautiful apples and cherry blossoms of goodness over the 6 months that follow the full moon at 4 degrees of Scorpio? If you're a Virgo sun, moon, and rising, anywhere in the first 10 degrees of that sign, you're going to feel it more intensely for sure. Could lead you to partner up with others in online social media and local business endeavors with Juno in your house of your identity as well. Again, that's a story that blossoms in the 6 months that follows the full moon of the 23rd of the month. Then one of the happy stories of our month is that Mercury will clear the fog of confusion as he puts his fog defogger on. Okay, Mercury's got a jet ski. He's going through the ocean. He has a fog patch, right? But he has a special gun that dispels the fog. Well, he spent a special super water spray device that dispels the confusion. What confusion? I hear the question. This is the 28th to the 30th. confusion about your relationship with your marriage partner or your business partner or your audience outreach. You've been foggy there on and off now since 2011. A lot of you got involved with drug addicts, mentally ill people, really challenging rose-colored glass relationships. You couldn't see what was true and real. And that started in 2011. But anyway, the foggy confusion is Mars's job every 2 years to clear the fog. And here he is clearing the fog again. Like he cleared the fog in 2013, 15, 17, 19, 21. No, I got that wrong. I got the wrong loop on that, but get the idea. Every couple of years, Mars cleared the fog. And here he's clearing the fog again in your significant relationship house. Okay? Yeah, would have been 2022 and 2020. You get the gist. So if you take action, you see, then when the fog is cleared, April 28th to 30th, you clear it, your partner clears it, you got to come to agreement, you understand what you need to do. You or your partner begin to make decisions and take actions that go forward with a new sense of clarity, especially as it may apply to how you share your resources together. Okay. And this is coming up for you, or how you overcome challenges with secret love stories or something. This is coming to this clarity turning point in a beautiful way, spiritual warrior, beautiful way, April 29th to the 30th. Thanks for listening. I hope that was useful for you guys as Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Don't forget, if you haven't joined my Patreon community yet, give me a try. You get early access content. My Patreon gets this on Friday, March 22nd. No ads ever, of course. And they get a free, one of 3 videos with me every month as an ethical bribe to get you to try my Patreon community out. Link in the description box below. You get 2 free courses, Chiron, the Key to Purpose, and the Synastry class, Are You My Person? Relationship Astrology. Resale value, $44. You get that now for free. That's a gift to keep forever and ever. You don't have to stay beyond 1 month, which is a $5 investment at the lowest tier to get 2 free classes with me. So come check out the community. See what you think about the more intimate space that I teach classes. I engage with you. I'm more available for comment responses. I hope some of you will come visit me in that part of the sky, in the part of the reality called Patreon. Sky Reader starts mid-April, don't forget. And my free webinar on the Mercury retrograde is in the description box below. Thanks, everybody. Let me know how your month goes. I love to listen to the comments as the month proceeds. I do read most of my comments. I cannot respond to all of them, but I do read them. Take care.